This week, our spotlight turns to Fort Payne, Alabama, and a group that has over 3 decades on the Southern gospel scene. The Sharps Quartet, nominated for just about every category that you could be named for in a quartet by the LGMA Awards that happened in October of this year. From Group of the Year, male vocalist, baritone, bass, lead singer, the whole gamut. They have been nominated by their fans as some of the best. Their new single, He Built a Bridge, is getting a lot of airplay around the nation, and the fans love it. We'll be playing that for you just a little bit later in the show. Someone else the fans love, nominated for Male Vocalist of the Year for the LGMA Awards. On the phone with me now, Ben Sharp from Fort Payne, Alabama. Ben, how are you this morning, sir?
Doing great. How about you, my friend?
How are things in Alabama?
They're hot one day and cold the next.
That sounds a lot like Texas, sir.
Good Lord. It's been 34 degrees today, and you may wear shorts and a T-shirt tomorrow. Who knows?
Well, that's why we love the South.
That is the truth, I guess.
It is true what they say in the South. If you're not fond of the weather today, just hold on. Tomorrow it'll be different. Ben, let's start by talking about the history and the heritage of the Sharps Quartet.
Okay.
Started by a gentleman named Joel Sharp, known affectionately to friends and family simply as Pops.
Yes, sir.
Take us back, if you would, and what do you remember as a young man growing up around Southern gospel in Alabama?
You know, being raised in Southern gospel like I was, Pawpaw started the group in 1985. And when I was born in 91, and my earliest memories are spent on a Silver Eagle bus going all up and down Tennessee, Georgia. At the age of 18 months, I was told that I did my first performance on stage playing the drums. And it is true because I've seen the pictures. So.
Wow, good memories, Ben. Thank you for sharing. If you're just joining us this morning here on the Crossroads, we're having a conversation with Ben Sharp of the Sharps Quartet, their new single, He Built a Bridge, really getting a lot of airplay. Good song. Ben, before we get into all that the group is doing now, let's spend a little bit more time talking about your family's patriarch, known by all that loved him simply as Pops.
Yes, sir. We, everybody that was in the gospel side, music side, referred to him as Pops. It is still to this day, people say I miss Pops.
That's great. So how many years now has the Sharps Quartet been singing the gospel?
This is our 30th year. It was formed in 1985 by my grandfather Joel. He had a vision to start a family-based, not so much quartet, but just a family group that would sing. At one time, the entire group was composed of nothing but family. Pawpaw and my grandmother had 3 children. Andy, which is my dad, that still sang. My mother sang. My aunt and uncle, you see the pattern. Everybody had their spot, and over the years it faded into more of a gospel quartet style. You had members coming and going, different band members. So over 30 years, you can imagine how one dream can be evolved into what it is today.
Sure, I get that completely. Growing up in a situation where you're on the road and you're singing every weekend, sometimes through the week, but you're spending a lot of times, even as a young man, preteen, even a toddler, you could probably tell me the amount of gum that's underneath those pews in probably half the churches in Alabama.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's still a bunch of places we go that refer to me as the little drummer boy, and I guess I'll be that till I'm 50 or 60. You know, a lot of people don't understand, but I wouldn't trade my childhood for nothing. The gifts God's given me and my family are just, I wish everybody could experience what I've experienced as a kid.
I completely understand that, Ben. That's a heritage that we have been blessed with. For those of you that would like to find out more about the originator of this group, the man with the burden and the vision, Joel Sharp, go to sharpsquartet.com. On the site, it tells you more about Joel, and there's a tribute there It's beautifully written,
Thank you.
and there's a video of his last performance. It's quite moving to watch. I played the his last performance on stage. He passed. What day was it that he passed, Ben?
It was on April 26th of 2013.
Right. So just shortly before that, on October 20th, you can go to the sharpsquartet.com and see this tribute, because it's truly it'll touch your soul. I believe y'all were at a music hall in Jackson.
Yes, in Jackson, Georgia.
Right.
It was a very fitting ending to Pawpaw's career. Back in the early 90s, that music hall was just getting started, and Pawpaw really helped, and we become a yearly group that sang there, and we had quite a good fan base there, and Pawpaw was dealing with health problems, but he wanted his last singing to be at Buckner's Music Hall in Georgia, and the video speaks for itself. I wish everybody could have been in that room. It was amazing.
I would imagine that the presence of the Lord was pretty thick there as he sang that beautiful song, "How Great Thou Art." Ben, it begs the question, at 20 years old, just turning 20 when you're Pawpaw. As I watched that video, and I watched your body language, and I think now, 3 or 4 years later, you understand the gravity of that night and what you were a witness to, the legacy
Right.
of your granddad, and as I watched that was one of my granddad's favorite songs as well. He was known just to start bellowing out in the garage. You
Right.
would hear him singing, and we've seen those patriarchs come and go. In fact, Jason Crabb just lost his grandmother, and we've lost
Yes.
Larry Goss, and even Andre Crouch, and all of those that are starting to, Carol Magruder's in failing health. Some of these folks have paved the way of faith in the gospel music that we listen to and love every day, and we see them, and I couldn't help but think, as I watched that video and I saw you standing there, and you're looking at a portrait of strength in your life,
Right.
in failing health, every reason to give up, and he still held to his faith.
Yes.
That's powerful.
It is. It proves to Pawpaw's will and strength, and the last few days of his life, his memory was coming and going, but he sat on his couch, and he was able to sing just a little bit of that chorus. And as for me, you sit there and go, this man has been a rock in my life. Now he's passing the torch to me.
Yeah, it's a heavy responsibility.
It is, but when my race is done, I want my kids and grandkids to look not only at me, but want to dig in a little deeper into learning about their true family heritage. Pawpaw was a strong man. He never met a stranger, but I feel like he taught me how to carry myself on and off stage, and not just me, but my dad also. It's, if you could sit down with me and Dad and really have time to talk, you could understand that Pops loved the Lord and he loved to sing, but he was real quick to tell you, we're not here to entertain, and if you need to get up and pray, we'll kick all this equipment out of the way and we'll have prayer with you, because that's what it's about. It's not about the fancy equipment or the fancy buses. It's about somebody hearing what these songs are trying to say.
What a ministry, what a vision. Thanks for that, Ben. If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation this morning with Ben Sharp of the Sharps Quartet, and their new single is He Built a Bridge, nominated for Song of the Year on the Lighthouse Gospel Music Awards. The convention will be in October as we near that date. Keep up with the Sharps Quartet on Facebook. Easy to find. Just search for the Sharps Quartet. Like their page, interact with them as they get closer. If you're a fan, they'd appreciate your votes going into the convention this fall for Lighthouse Gospel Music Awards. Let's go ahead and play this new single, He Built a Bridge. Stay with us. We'll be right back with further thoughts from Ben on a character in the Bible and family on Sunday Morning Crossroads.
God so loved this world that he sent his son, paid the price to set me free. Cross the river wide or the raging tide, Jesus built a bridge for me. He built a bridge to take me to the other side. He made a way to span the mighty oceans wide. He paid the price for me at Calvary. He died to save my soul and set me free. He said if I reach out and take his hand, he'd lead me safely to the promised land. He made a way so I could cross the tide. He built a bridge to take me to the other side. Jesus knew that I would never get across the raging river deep and wide, so he gave his life at Calvary just to get me on the other side. He built a bridge to take me to the other side. He made a way to span the mighty oceans wide. He paid the price for me at Calvary. He died to save my soul and set me free. He said if I reach out and take his hand, he'd lead me safely to the promised land. He made a way so I could cross the tide. He built a bridge to take me to the other side. He built a bridge to take me to the other side.
He Built a Bridge, nominated for Song of the Year with LGMA, coming up this October in Hudson, North Carolina. On the phone with us now is Ben Sharp to talk about the inspiration of that song. That song's been around quite a while, hasn't it, Ben?
It has. It was written by Mr. Roger McDowell and given to my papa in, I'd say, 2005, 2006. Mr. Roger passed away from throat cancer, and Papa loved the song. We sang it a little, but when Papa passed away and we went back to record professionally, we said, we got to throw this in here. We recorded it, didn't think anything about it. Our producer called and said, you want to know what song we would like to sing as a single? And we said, yeah, sure. And he said, He Built a Bridge, and we all said, oh, wait, what? So it touches people's lives. We never thought it would have this big of an impact, but if you'll listen to the words in that song, it really paints a picture.
It does. It's got a good message. I bet it's a lot of fun to sing, too, isn't it?
It is. It's very challenging for me because I got to fit all them words in there, and I run out of breath a lot.
Well, it doesn't sound like it on the single, and obviously the fans didn't think so either, so you're doing a good job there.
Well, studio is a powerful thing.
It is. It is. The power of the delete button.
Exactly, and all those breaths, and in that song, just a little inside, our producer and engineer, he actually took the cuts. He cut up every breath I took in that take and played all the breaths together. You would have think Darth Vader had been reincarnated. It's on stage. I just got to rear back and do it, but it is an awesome song. I really enjoy singing.
Yeah, I guess you spend a lot of time swimming underwater to hold your breath to get practiced up just for a singing.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to cut loose.
Folks, if you haven't connected with the Sharps Quartet, you're missing out. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and their website is sharpsquartet.com. Good folks, down-to-earth folks from the South in Alabama. Been doing this for 30 years. It's, I guess, second or third generation at this point, getting there very quickly. And on the phone with us now is Ben Sharp discussing their past year and some of their successes with the new single, He Built a Bridge. Again, nominated as well as they are. He's up for Male Artist of the Year with the LGMA Awards coming up in October. So do your part. Check them out. Watch them on YouTube. All of that's available. Always can hear them here on the Crossroads on Sunday morning. Enjoy playing their music and spreading their ministry. So, Ben, we've talked about your heritage and where you've come from. I want to switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about these days and what that torch has meant to you as you've taken it in your group from your granddad. And you're married.
Yes.
And happily married.
Oh, yes. Very
happily. Better put that out there.
Very. Me and my wife, we shared 6 great years dating, and then got married on our 7th anniversary. And I couldn't do this so young if I didn't have her support. And she, being together 6 years, she's seen it, she's experienced, and she truly supports what we do. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, and you know that, folks, that shouldn't be taken lightly, because the life of a traveling musician, now, this isn't all you do. This is not necessarily where you make your income to sustain your life. Ben and the guys in the group, they have a heart for the ministry, and they have a talent that God's given them, and it's not, and he probably doesn't want me to put these accolades on him, but it's a sacrifice to do what he does.
It is.
There are those long nights on the road. I'm sure you've experienced them. After a long week at work, your wife wants you home with her, but yet your commitment and faith to the ministry calls you for hours away, and you get there, and there's 10 people in the crowd.
Right.
What keeps you going?
When the equipment's set up and we're back in the back changing, it's like a calm comes over you. You see all these players, and I played football in high school. You see all these NFL players, college players, hyping themselves up, jumping around and really preparing themselves what's fixing to go on in the game. And I found myself sitting off to myself, just, making sure that if I have that chance to say something or do something that might make somebody think, maybe I'm not as close as I need to be, it gives you a drive. It's like a newfound push. I don't really know how to explain it better than that. It's just
it's energizing.
It is. And to see us sing and watch us on YouTube or whatever, you can see, and I feel like people can see, that we're up there not just standing in one spot singing. We're doing it with everything we've got. And I feel like that's important to the Sharps, because I don't want people to think that, they're just dead in Christ.
Yeah.
You don't, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you've got to, wear the perfect tie and the perfect suit. You can still have fun and laugh, but you can also do it in a godly way. And
that's right.
It's just something about when you do see that one soul get saved or rededicated, it's like you just crank it back up to 10.
Yep, it makes all the miles worthwhile. You mentioned that, Ben, and I believe we've got your one of your singles off the Someday I Will album that's really elevated y'all and got you on the face of gospel music. I know we're going to talk about y'all have blown up the Lighthouse Gospel Music Association nominations this year.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you for that. So let's listen now to another single off of their newest album, Someday I Will. This song is entitled simply, His Love and Grace.
Throughout the Bible we are told about His precious love, how He died one day on Calvary's hill and shed His saving blood, how He has made on heaven's shore a mansion just for me. His love and grace, it still amazes me. His love and grace, it it still amazes me. His name will reign throughout eternity. One thing I know is heaven I shall see. His love and grace, it still amazes me. Jesus whispers peace to me when I am sinking low. I know that he's my dearest friend. He'll lead wherever I go. And though I stumble on the way, it's heaven I shall see. His love and grace, it still amazes me. His love and grace, it still amazes me. His name will reign throughout eternity. One thing I know is heaven I shall see. His love and grace, it still amazes me. His love and grace, it still amazes me. His name will reign throughout eternity. One thing I know is heaven I shall see. His love and grace, it still amazes me. It still amazes me. It still amazes me.
The sounds of the Sharps Quartet here on Sunday Morning Crossroads with another single off of their latest album, Someday I Will. That was the song His Love and Grace. Ben Sharp is still with us as we do this week's Artist Spotlight on the Sharps Quartet. Ben, let's talk about the LGMA Award. How long have you been involved with the Lighthouse Gospel Music Association?
This is our first year with LGMA, based out of North Carolina. We, being a quote-unquote up-and-coming group, you want to partner yourself with someone that has the same standards as you. We desperately searched for an association that wasn't just there, for the check, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, are those folks like that out there?
I've been told there is. I'm not going to. But no, Shellam Klein that owns LGMA is a good man. He also is a soloist in Southern Gospel. Talk to him, he is almost my age, almost 23. I think he's like 25 or 26. Anyway, he owns it, represents it, and me and him shared a lot of the same ideas. Anyway, we joined, and shortly hereafter, he called me or texted me and said, fan awards are up. I created this thing that said, hey, go vote for us,
Sure.
Thinking, we're in the brand new association. Nobody really knows us.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we get the nomination list, and I'm thinking, okay, one, maybe two, but man, 8. We were nominated in 8 categories, and everybody in the group was just like, that we're blessed. It's all you can say.
Now, let me clarify for the folks listening this morning. We've got Ben Sharp on the phone with Sharp's Quartet out of Alabama. And so we're talking about all of the nominations for the LGMA 2015 Gospel Music Convention, which is coming up in October this year in Hudson, North Carolina.
Yes.
This is not something that is bought, folks. Now, there's a lot of those that could be, but this is a fan-based nomination. The Sharps Quartet been doing this for 30 years, not for the limelight, but for the ministry of it. And you can hear it in their songs and their talent, and we're really honored to have Ben on with us this morning. But, they pretty much swept the nominations in all the categories. Ben, I believe you're up for Baritone of the Year, aren't you?
Yes, I am. We'll just go down the list. Our bass singer, Logan Miller, he has been singing 3 years. He discovered his God-given ability for bass singing, and his very first fan awards, he was nominated for favorite bass. Our lead singer, Mike Leith, was nominated for favorite lead. My dad was nominated for favorite tenor. That was Andy Sharp. And I I get this special treatment, I guess. I got nominated for baritone and favorite male vocalist of the year.
As you should have been. You sure
well,
should have.
Well, thank you. No, it's one of those things. And then He Built a Bridge, our single that was released in 2014, was nominated for Song of the Year. The gentleman who wrote that song, Mr. Roger McDowell, was nominated for Writer of the Year, and all together we were nominated as Favorite Male Quartet of the Year. So
I don't know that y'all missed a category there.
We missed Favorite Alto and Soprano.
Oh my!
and I don't plan on trying to sing either one, so we'll let them have it.
Speaking of your new single, we've played it a couple of times here on Sunday Morning Crossroads. Good tune, and I'll be honest with you, Ben. Logan's bass in this sounds like George Johnson at 65 years old. I mean,
Lord, please don't let him hear that.
I'm afraid it's too late. So we're gonna have a little fun with you, Ben.
Okay.
I've got a few words here. I'm just gonna give you the word.
Okay.
And you can just tell me what comes to mind at the drop of a hat. All right. It can be a one word. It can be a sentence.
Okay.
So, I hear so often these interviews, and it's, what's your next album? What's this? What's that? I mean, this is real life, and we like to be able to relate to those that come out and pay whatever it is, a love offering, and travel to see your music and to take part in your ministry. So let's have some fun with this. So here's your first word. You ready?
Okay. Yeah,
right.
Ready.
Pickup truck.
Driving down a dirt road. That needs to be a country song.
Yeah. You don't need to sing it though.
No, I'll let you write it, and I'll help you co-write it.
There, that'll work. All right. Ready for this, folks? Auburn.
Stinks. Roll Tide.
All right, let's bring it back to something more relevant. Family.
Everything.
Okay. Love.
My wife.
Good answer. Survey says.
Yes, number one answer.
America.
Home of the brave.
And God.
Everlasting.
Ben Sharp of the Sharps Quartet, in his own words, here on Sunday Morning Crossroads. If you're just joining us, we're doing a regular feature now, Artist Spotlight. This week it's the Sharps Quartet. Along that line, Ben, I have to ask you, just hypothetically.
Okay.
We read the Word, we know the Bible. If you could pick anyone in the Bible to be like, or if you had the power to go back and be that person, or maybe it's someone you consider yourself to be most endearing to, who would it be?
I would probably say Andrew. I know a lot of people say that, and they're probably thinking, Andrew. Andrew, to me, is not, I guess you would say, idolized as much as Peter and Paul, but Andrew, I really believe with all his heart, tried his hardest to tell everybody about the good news about Jesus. And Andrew not only knew that Jesus came to save not only Israel, but he was there to save everyone who would accept him. And I feel like as Christians, that's what we should do. Not only focus on one group, but God is for everyone. His love is everlasting, and I feel like I could relate with Andrew in a lot of ways of serving and telling the good news about Jesus.
That's really good, Ben. And folks, you need to check them out, sharpsquartet.com. They may not be the necessarily the big name with the thousands of albums and the 70 years in the stores and traveling the road, but they've been there. And it's more than music to them. It's a ministry. And we appreciate their effort, their sacrifice. There's a lot of nights that they're worn out. They're going home at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, leaving a family behind and having to go back, and the families are the unsung heroes here.
Yes, they are.
They take the back seat and they let you go minister. God sees their sacrifice, And you're right. You know, in reading about your pops that passed, the story was told about the soul that came up at the funeral there, I believe, and
Yes.
and that has to be, folks. That's all it's about. That one person that you reached. You might go out every night, every weekend for years. It's all about that one.
That's right. Just to share the story you're referring to, Papa had passed away in the night of his visitation here in Fort Payne. We were humbled at so many people that traveled so far just to pay their last respects to Pops. And me and Dad had kind of broke off from the rest just to clear our heads and talk. And a lady approached Dad as almost out of nowhere, and she said, "You may not remember me." And Dad just kind of said, "No, I don't believe I do." And she said, "If it had not have been for Joel Sharp, I would not have come to know the Lord. And his singing is what led me to my faith in Jesus." And a lot of people may not think that standing in a funeral home, you may have that feeling of a church, but it was like this lady had been sent for a comfort to know, even though Pops is gone, his legacy is still here, and we owe it to him to keep doing what he was doing for his entire life. So,
and you know what? He had that vision from early on. That's why he, and some folks would say it, in today's world, they'd probably even call it child abuse for you to be on the road 24/7 as an infant.
Right.
But you know what? He knew what he was writing. He knew the heritage and the faith that he was instilling into you. He knew that it was in the book.
Oh, yeah. And to see how much of an effect he has, not on just our singing side, but our entire family. As soon as you walk in my grandmother's house, you walk in a little foyer and take a left, and the very first thing you see is Papa. There's a beautiful picture. In fact, the picture that's on the website, we had it blown up to an 8x10, and it's sitting there, and you walk in and you feel like he's still there. It's hard to describe, but I feel like me and my papa had something that not every grandkid can have. We connected on not only family, but on the spiritual singing side, and I wouldn't take any dollar amount in the world for it.
The memories and reflection of Ben Sharp here on Sunday Morning Crossroads. And you know, Ben, quite honestly, there are so many of our listeners that relate to that, and those that they have that yearning, maybe even from a childhood many years ago, where you saw the influence of your grandparents, and somehow life got you off track, and things that don't matter now mattered then, and you're looking for your way back. You can find that.
It's 100% true. I'd agree with that 100%.
Ben, thanks so much for coming on the program this week. So honored to have you along, and wish you the best of luck. Hope to give you a standing ovation as you accept that award this October.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything we can do to spread the word, maybe some more votes if that comes around. Folks, you need to check them out, like their Facebook page. It's a way to stay connected with all the ministry that is out there and around you. The positive. We see all the negative in our Facebook feeds, the politics, the world, is burning down around us, and it might. But God told us to have faith.
That's right.
And to keep the faith. And the way we do that is to surround ourselves with those that think like we do. So go like their page. Check them out on Twitter. If you do that, definitely stop by their website. That's where you can find all their music. Tell us a little bit about your tours, what's coming up this summer. Anything you'd like to tell the fans that are listening to us today, Ben?
Like he said, check us out on Facebook, Twitter. As the nominations begin to grow into actual voting, we'll post everything there. As for schedule, we've got our schedule there online. If we're going to be close to you, feel free to come see us. We'd love to meet you and say hey, we heard you on Craig Roberts' show. So there's a lot of good things in store for the Sharps. I believe that. We don't know where God's going to take us, but we're anxious to get there.
He's got the bridge laid out in front of you. You just got to cross it.
That's right.
Yeah. Good stuff, Ben. Thanks so much, and good to have you this morning. Hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Hopefully very soon.
That's Ben Sharp, folks, of the Sharps Quartet. Let's listen now to the title cut of their newest album, Someday I Will.
Well, I've never been to heaven. Someday I know I will. And I'll walk the holy hills of Beulah land. And I've never seen my Savior who died on Calvary's hill. Oh, but someday I know I will. Oh, and someday over Jordan I'll spread my wings for flight. And someday I'll be leaving this world of sin and strife. Well, I've never seen the tree of life, but yes, I know it's real. Oh, but someday I know I will. I know I will. I can't imagine what is waiting on the other shore. My eyes haven't seen, nor my ears have heard what the Father is preparing for those that love Him. Oh, but someday I know I will. Oh, and someday over Jordan I'll spread my wings for flight. And someday I'll be leaving this world of sin and strife. Well, I've never seen the tree of life, but yes, I know it's real. Oh, but someday I know I will. I know I will. Oh, but someday, someday I know I will.
Sunday Morning Crossroads with Craig Roberts.